Hello everybody. Today we'll be talking about conducting patterns. That's conducting patterns. Now, if you've ever been to an orchestra concert or a band concert, you've probably seen the man out in front, giving the group instructions and waving his arms like a madman. Now, the question is he really waving his arms like a madman, or is there an art to what he's doing? I'll give you a second to answer that. If you answer the second one, you are right. There is actually an art to conducting, as you see here, and we will tackle this in just a few moments. But first, we're going to talk about a few very important terms in the conducting world. One of those is the ictus, the instant when a beat occurs. You could also think of this as the downbeat. The other one is the anacrusis, the rebound or prep beat, also known as the upbeat. So, as you see, you have the 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4 conducting patterns here. But before we go ahead and tackle this, I should show you what a preparatory beat looks like. And your preparatory is basically when you give your group a signal, you're signaling your group that you're about to start, and you're also giving them a tempo indication. You're letting them know what tempo you're about to start at. So I'll demonstrate that right now. Now, the breath isn't necessarily a necessity. It's not mandatory. The breath is just kind of a personal thing between you and the group. You can do it if you would like for younger groups, but it's not necessarily mandated. And you want to make eye contact. You want to make sure that you're establishing a tempo. If you take a slow breath and a slow preparatory beat, you're showing your group that you're about to go at a slow tempo. Now, if you take a fast breath and you give them a fast preparatory beat, you're letting your group know that you're about to take off. So just be mindful of those things. So with the 2/4 pattern, you have your anacrusis up here, and you have your ictus, which is 1, your second anacrusis, your second ictus, and then you're going to come back up. So you're making like a kind of a J pattern right here. That's exactly how you're going to do it, and I'll demonstrate right now. 1, 2, and off. So that's how you conduct the 2/4 pattern. If you also paid attention, you would notice that I cut the band off. That's another thing to be aware of. As you see, it was just a gentle motion of the arms to cut them off. It doesn't have to be strict. It doesn't have to be forceful, unless of course you're conducting a march or something that's very strong in nature, a piece that's very strong in nature. But generally, a subtle cutoff. Just show the band that you're getting ready to cut them off. So your next pattern is 3/4. Of course, anacrusis. Here's your ictus, your second ictus. You want to come up at like a sharp corner, kind of like a rhino horn, and your third ictus, and you're coming back up top. So you're kind of same thing, but you're adding another little swoop. So 1, 2, and 3, and I'll demonstrate how that looks. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So again, pretty simple motion, almost like the 2/4 pattern, but you add a little bit extra on, especially with the third beat. So now for 4/4, this is the most common. It's the other name for 4/4 time is actually common time. So this will probably be the most common pattern that you'll be conducting. So anacrusis, ictus, you're gonna come down to 2, come back around to 3, hit your sharp corner again, just like in 3/4. 4th ictus, and come back up for your anacrusis. This may look a little bit complicated at first glance, but I'll demonstrate and break it down a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cut off. So as you see, not too bad for the 4/4 pattern. It's pretty simple in nature. You just have to get a hang of it. And also, if you paid attention while I was conducting all of these patterns, you would have noticed almost like an imaginary plane in front of me. When you're conducting, you don't really want to go too much out of your imaginary plane, because it becomes just movements, just kind of outlandish movements to the group. So you want to keep it in an imaginary plane. And I'll show you what I mean by that now. So this is where my arms are starting off. This would be the imaginary bottom of my plane. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And this would be the imaginary top of my plane. So I'm right in this area. I don't want my arms to go too much outside of this or too wide either, because it just looks like just arms. It just looks kind of crazy at that point. Also, a thing to be wary of when conducting your group is not to wear very, very shiny jewelry, like very shiny watches or rings, because it may be distracting to the group, because you want them to pay attention to your baton or your hand motions and not any other things. So again, this is Conducting Patterns by Edwin Victor, and never forget, music is life.